Most people over 65 are told the same thing. Be careful, take your time, and hold the railing. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here's what nobody tells you. Being careful alone does not protect your independence. Careful is not a skill. Careful is a mood. And a mood cannot catch you when your foot lands half an inch off the mark on a wet kitchen floor. Balance clinics see this pattern every single week. A person walks in steady, confident, no history of falling, no complaints at all. They stand on one leg and they cannot hold it for 10 seconds. That person did not feel unsteady the day before. Their body had already been losing the ability quietly for years. Today, I am giving you 5 systems that decide whether you pass the 30-second balance test, counted down from 5 to 1. And I am giving you the one insight that almost no 12-minute appointment ever has time to cover. The number one item on this list is something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Here is why your doctor has probably never tested this. A standard appointment runs about 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, they must review your medications, check your blood pressure, address the reason you came in, and write everything down. Balance testing takes time and floor space and a spotter, so it gets skipped unless you have already fallen. That is the problem. By the time balance testing becomes urgent, you have already lost the thing it was meant to protect. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Nothing here costs money. Everything here can be done in your own kitchen. And the stakes are not abstract. This is about stepping off a curb without looking down. It is about carrying groceries up 3 steps with one hand on the bag and none on the rail. It is about living in your own home for another decade. Before we go further, tell me your age and what country you are watching from. I want to see who is here tonight. Now, the one mechanism behind all of it. Balance is not a body part. Balance is a control loop that runs 3 times per second without your permission and without your awareness. 3 inputs feed it: your inner ear, your eyes, and the pressure sensors in the soles of your feet and your ankle joints. Your brain compares those 3 signals, finds the disagreement, and corrects it before you notice anything happened. Think of a house thermostat. It reads the room, compares it to the target, and nudges the furnace all day in small corrections you never hear. You only notice a thermostat when it is broken and the house has already gone cold. Balance works exactly the same way. It fails silently for years, and the first thing you notice is the floor. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. Number 5 is single leg stance training against a kitchen counter, timed. The test is also the training. That sounds odd until you understand the mechanism. When you stand on 2 feet, your base of support is roughly the size of a doormat. Your brain can be lazy and still keep you upright. Lift 1 foot, and that doormat shrinks to the size of a paperback book. Now the ankle sensors must report constantly, and the small muscles around the ankle must fire in bursts, dozens of times a minute. That is the training stimulus, and standing on 2 feet never delivers it. Large studies following older adults for years have consistently found that the inability to hold a single leg stance for around 10 seconds is associated with a meaningfully higher risk of falls and worse survival over the following decade. It is one of the simplest predictive measures in geriatric medicine. Here is the protocol. Stand facing your kitchen counter with your fingertips resting on it, not gripping. Lift 1 foot so the ankle is beside the opposite calf and start counting. Do 3 attempts per leg once daily. Your progression is by fingers. Start with all 10 fingertips down, then 5, then 2, then 1, then hover the hand 1 inch above the surface. Only move to the next stage when you can hold 30 seconds twice in a row. The error nearly everyone makes is gripping the counter with the whole hand, which turns a balance drill into an arm exercise and teaches your brain nothing. The safety setup is non-negotiable. Counter in front, wall or a sturdy chair within 1 step to the side, shoes off or flat shoes on, never socks on a smooth floor. If you feel sharp pain in the standing knee or hip, stop. That is not push-through territory. If the room spins or tilts, put both feet down and sit, and mention it to your doctor before you try again. Pair this with brushing your teeth because it gives you 2 fixed minutes twice a day and a counter already in front of you. Habits that attach to an existing habit survive. Habits that need a new time slot do not. But there is a limit to what standing still can teach you. A held pose trains your ability to stay put. It does not train the muscle that catches you when you are already falling sideways. That is a different system, and it is next. Number 4 is the lateral hip stabilizers, specifically the gluteus medius. This is the muscle on the outer edge of your hip, just below the bone you feel when you put your hands on your waist. Its entire job is sideways. When your left foot is on the ground, the left gluteus medius holds your pelvis level so your right hip does not drop. Without it, every single step becomes a small sideways collapse that your upper body has to fight. Picture a tent pole guy line. The pole is strong in one direction, straight down. It is the side ropes that keep it from folding over in wind. Your quadriceps are the pole. Your gluteus medius is the guy line. Most people over 60 have spent 30 years training the pole and ignoring the ropes. Rehabilitation research has consistently linked weakness in these lateral hip muscles to unsteady, wide-based walking patterns and to falls in older adults. And hip abduction strengthening is standard practice in fall prevention programs worldwide. The protocol is the standing side leg raise. Hold the back of a sturdy chair with one hand. Keep both legs straight and your torso perfectly upright. Lift one leg directly out to the side, only about 8 to 12 inches, and hold 2 seconds at the top before lowering with control. 10 repetitions per leg, 2 sets, 4 days per week. Progress by adding a 2-second pause, then a third set, then a light ankle weight of 1 to 2 pounds, never more than 2 pounds to start. The error is leaning the torso away from the lifting leg, which lets your back muscles do the work and lets the hip muscle rest. For the senior safe version, sit tall in a chair with a resistance band looped just above the knees and press the knees apart against the band for 3 seconds, 10 times. That gives you the same muscle with 0 balance demand on the days your legs feel tired. Stop condition. Pinching pain at the front of the hip means stop and change to the seated version. Pair this with the single leg stance from item 5. In that order, strength first and balance second. A muscle you have just woken up gives your brain better information to work with. Still, a strong hip and a steady stance both assume your brain is receiving accurate signals from the ground. If the signal itself is degraded, no amount of strength will fix the timing. That is what we address next. Number 3 is plantar sensation, the feeling in the soles of your feet. Your feet are not just platforms. The sole of each foot holds thousands of pressure receptors that tell your brain continuously exactly where your weight sits and which way it is drifting. Think of the sole of your foot as a pressure map, like the sensors under a bathroom scale. As you sway forward, pressure moves toward the toes and the map updates. Your brain reads that shift and corrects before it becomes a stumble. Now imagine the same scale with a thick blanket over it. The reading still arrives, but late and blurred. Thick calluses, decades of cushioned shoes, and reduced circulation all act like that blanket. The correction arrives late, and late corrections are what a fall actually is. Research on peripheral sensation in older adults has repeatedly shown that reduced sensitivity in the feet is one of the stronger independent predictors of postural instability. Diabetes clinics track this specifically because sensation loss precedes balance loss. Here is the protocol, and it takes 4 minutes. Sit in a chair and place a tennis ball or a firm rubber ball under one bare foot. Roll it slowly from the heel to the base of the toes, 30 seconds. Then across the width of the foot, 30 seconds. Then stand and simply stand barefoot on a firm surface for 2 minutes. Weight even, eyes open. Do this once daily, ideally in the evening. Progress by moving from a smooth floor to a folded bath towel after 2 weeks, which forces finer corrections. The error is using a spiky massage ball too hard on day 1, which causes soreness and ends the habit by day 4. Safety first. Do the rolling seated, always, never standing on the ball. If you have diabetes or any diagnosed neuropathy, look at your feet before and after and talk to your doctor before starting footwork, because reduced sensation means you may not feel a small injury. Stop condition. Any new redness, blister, or numbness means stop and have the foot looked at. Pair this with your single leg stance from item 5 by doing it barefoot right after the ball rolling, because you get 30 to 60 minutes of heightened sensitivity after the tissue work, and your brain trains on a clearer signal. But sharper signals from the feet still travel to a brain that has to interpret them while doing something else. Real life never lets you balance in silence. That is the gap the next item closes. Number 2 is dual task training, balancing while your brain is busy. Almost nobody falls while concentrating on balance. People fall while turning to answer the door, while carrying a mug, and thinking about the phone call, while stepping off a curb mid-sentence. Your brain has a limited pool of attention, like a house with limited electrical current. Run the kettle and the heater and the microwave together, and the lights dim. Balance is one of the appliances. When you add conversation or memory work, balance is the appliance that gets less current, and it dims first in an older nervous system. This is well established in the geriatric literature. Dual task walking tests, where a person walks while counting backwards, are used in clinics precisely because the slowdown they reveal predicts falls better than walking speed alone. Protocol. Stand with your feet in a heel-to-toe line, one foot directly in front of the other, fingertips near a counter. Now count backwards out loud from 100 by threes. Hold for 30 seconds, 3 rounds, 4 days per week. Progression in order. First, eyes open with counting, then name as many animals as you can in 30 seconds, then do it while slowly turning your head left and right. Only add the head turns when the counting version is comfortable, because head movement challenges the inner ear directly. The error is going quiet when the balance gets hard, which defeats the entire purpose, so if you stop talking, the round does not count. Senior safe setup, corner of the kitchen with the counter in front and a wall to one side, so 2 directions are already covered. Stop condition. If you touch down more than twice in a round, drop back to a normal stance instead of heel to toe rather than pushing on. Pair this with a phone call. Do your heel to toe stance while you talk to your daughter for the first 2 minutes of the call, and the conversation becomes the cognitive load for free. Now, everything so far has trained your ability to stay upright. But there is one system that decides what happens in the half second after you have already lost your balance, and it is the one almost nobody trains. That is item number 1. Number 1 is reactive stepping, the trained ability to take a fast, correct step when you are already falling. This is the crown of the list, and it is the one thing that separates a stumble from a hospital admission. Here is the mechanism, and it is different from everything else we have covered. Items 5 through 2 all train your ability to prevent a loss of balance. Reactive stepping trains. What happens after prevention has already failed, because it will fail sometimes. A rug edge, a wet tile, a dog at your ankles. Nobody prevents every perturbation. When you are pushed off balance, your body has roughly half a second to get a foot out and plant it under your falling weight. That is not a decision. There is no time for a decision. It is a pre-programmed motor pattern your brain either has or does not have. Think of a fire drill. Everyone in the building already knows the exit is over there, but knowing does not help you at 2 in the morning in smoke. What helps is that your legs have walked that route so many times that they move before your mind catches up. Reactive stepping is a fire drill for your legs. And here's the part that matters most. This pattern degrades faster than strength does. You can have strong legs and no step reflex, and that combination is exactly the person who falls hard, because they had the power to hurt themselves on the way down. Perturbation-based balance training is one of the most promising areas in modern fall prevention research. Clinical trials in rehabilitation settings have found that training the recovery step directly can reduce falls substantially, more than general exercise programs alone. Physical therapy departments now build entire programs around it. Here is the home protocol, and read the safety section before you try it. Stand in a hallway, narrow enough that both walls are within arm's reach. Feet together, arms relaxed at your sides. Rise onto the balls of your feet and lean forward from the ankles, keeping your body straight like a plank until you are past the point of balance. Then let yourself fall forward and catch it with one fast step. The step should be long and land flat, heel and forefoot together. 5 repetitions, alternating which leg steps, 3 days per week. Your progression is by lean angle, not by repetitions. Week 1, lean barely past your toes. Week 3, lean further, so the step must be faster and longer. Week 6, add a backward version, leaning back from the ankles and catching with a quick step behind you, which is the direction most people are worst at. The error that ruins this drill is stepping early, before you have actually lost balance, which trains a voluntary step instead of a reflexive one. It must feel slightly late. Safety is absolute here. Hallway with 2 walls within reach, or a corner, or a sturdy counter you can catch. Shoes on, not socks. Have another person present for your first 2 sessions, standing at your side, not behind you. If you have had a fracture in the past year, or you have been told you have severe osteoporosis, or you are taking blood thinners, do not do the leaning version at home. Do the seated and standing preparation instead, and ask your doctor for a referral to a physical therapist who does perturbation training. Stop condition. Any dizziness, any sharp joint pain, or any hesitation that makes you not want to lean means stop for today. Pair this with item 4, the lateral hip work, on the same days. Your recovery step is powered almost entirely by hip muscles firing sideways, so the strength you built in item 4 is the fuel that makes the step long enough to land under you. I told you at the start that the number 1 item was something almost nobody talks about. This is why. Every fall prevention conversation you have ever had was about not falling. Nobody teaches you how to fall and not go down, and that is the skill that decides the next 10 years. Balance is not luck. Mobility is not genetics. Independence is trained. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman, living alone, no falls on record, no complaints. She came in for knee stiffness. On testing, she could hold a single leg stance for 6 seconds on the right and 4 on the left. She had no idea anything was wrong. She still walked to the shops and back 4 days a week. Her program was simple, and it was daily. Counter-supported single leg stance, 3 attempts each side. Standing side leg raises, 10 each side, 2 sets. 4 minutes of footwork with a ball each evening. Heel-to-toe stance while counting backwards, 3 rounds. Reactive stepping was added in week 3, supervised in a hallway. At 12 weeks, her single leg time was 26 seconds on the right and 22 on the left. More importantly, she reported catching herself twice on a loose rug without going down, both times with a step she did not consciously choose. That is the outcome that matters. Not the number, the catch. Here is exactly what to do, and none of it costs anything. Tonight, do the test. Stand by your counter, lift 1 foot, and time yourself on each leg and write both numbers down. Tonight, also do 4 minutes of footwork with a ball or a rolled towel under each bare foot. This week, start standing side leg raises, 10 each side, 2 sets, on 4 separate days. This week, add the heel-to-toe stance while counting backwards from 100 by 3s, 3 rounds of 30 seconds. And in week 3, only after the first 4 are routine, begin reactive stepping in a hallway, 5 steps, 3 days a week, with someone nearby for the first 2 sessions. Think of someone in your life who says they are fine, who has never fallen, and who has never once been tested. Send this to them, because the whole point of this test is that it works before anything feels wrong. Tell me in the comments which of these you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. And if you want more of the science that a short appointment never has room for, subscribe, because that is the entire reason this channel exists. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Laura Bennett. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.